Hi guys, today's video is about Game of Thrones symbolism and seasonal prediction. But first, I want to tell you about how I got to my findings. So if you just want to check out the theory, skip to this part. Otherwise, bear with me. Okay, George, I have a question for you. After all this global success you have with your books, why are you still living in Santa Fe? You see, places are important, especially for writers. I think places mean inspiration. For example, when it comes to great writers, I often think of the lost generation of 1920s. You know, writers like Hemingway, Fitzgerald, Stein, and T.S. Eliot. It was in Paris when these 20th century literary legends wrote such enduring masterpieces as The Sunrise Rises, This Side of Paradise, and The Great Gatsby, just to name a few. So places are important in writing stories. Then, is Santa Fe important to you, George? If so, why? Then I asked this question to myself. What comes in your mind when you think of Santa Fe? And you know what I said? American Indians. Petroglyphs. And that's when I started digging for Native American symbols. And here's what I found. Let me give you a couple of easy ones as starter. Check this out. It should look familiar to you guys. Doesn't it remind you of the sigil of House Bolton? It does, doesn't it? This symbol represents death. Here you can see two people instead of one. That's because Native Americans wanted to have both men and women portrayed upside down. This one is called the Arrowhead. It symbolizes alertness. So the Arrowhead Mountain is like a warning sign. It is to warn people of the danger of the others, since this is the place where White Walkers were created by the children of the forest. Sometimes the use of Indian symbols in George's writing is not as visibly recognizable as these two. I found that some symbols became actually part of the story itself, especially with animal symbols. I'll go ahead and give you a couple of examples of that. The wolf. Native Americans believed that they were descended from wolves. And according to the Pawnee Indian creation myth, the wolf was the first creature to experience death. Maybe that's why we saw the dead dire wolf in the pilot episode, and the very first shocking major death of season 1 was Ned Stark's. Yup, it was the wolf that tasted death first in Game of Thrones as well. Wolf symbol is not always good though. Sometimes the wolf embodied both protection and destruction, and it has always been a symbol of evil as well as good. The raven. The raven signifies that danger has passed and good luck will follow. According to some Native American tribes, the raven was a big part of their creation myth. The raven escaped from the darkness of the cosmos and became the bringer of light. Yes, you heard me right, the bringer of light. What does this mean? Sorry, Lucifer, you're not the light bringer in Song of Ice and Fire. It's the raven who will bring the light. For other tribes, the raven is a trickster or shapeshifter. I think shapeshifting became working in Song of Ice and Fire, and the raven being the part of the creation myth reminded me of the theory that Bran is actually Bran the Builder. Many fans have been speculating that Bran is the Bran the Builder, and their theory gained momentum when they had glimpses of Bran the Builder being carried on a platform in the History of Westeros videos. And they figured that either the legendary figure was crippled or both Brans are the same person, which is a probable theory given the time-traveling powers of Bran Stark. Anyway, the idea that the two Brans are the same person, or the name Bran has been there since the beginning of the world of Song of Ice and Fire, kind of fits into the creation myth of the Raven having been around since the beginning of time. I also noticed that George employed symbol modification to incorporate Indian symbols into his novel. The degree of modification varied from mild to high. Here are some examples of that. The circles. The first four symbolize the cycle of the seasons, like spring, summer, fall, and winter. The latter four also symbolize air, fire, water, and earth. And these two are the main ones that are introduced in Game of Thrones. The summer air and winter water. When and how? Remember this scene from that cold opening of season 1? Some say it's a Greek fire symbol, but I disagree. I think this one is the modified version of the winter sign. And if you take this picture and turn it a bit like this, you can see something like Sansa's necklace here. I don't think it really meant to look like a fire. Now that being said, What are the others, or White Walkers, trying to say with this winter symbol? I think they're saying winter is coming. Then what about this one? Forget about the Fibonacci numbers or the golden ratio. I think George's modification technique got more refined over time. It became sort of tapestry of different symbols woven together to create his own. Actually, this one is the modified version of the combination of homecoming and morning star. The homecoming was to signify the return of a warrior, and I think this symbol is also where George got the idea for the house sigil of Targaryen, 3 heads of dragon. This is morning star, and it symbolizes the renewal of tradition and resurrection of the heroes of the past. And there was a ritual related to this particular symbol practiced by the Pawnee tribe called Morning Star Ceremony. In this ritual, a young girl was killed as a human sacrifice. I like to draw some parallels here. Remember this? This is part of the brand's flashback Tower of Joy scene, and young Ned Stark placing Sir Arthur Dayne's sword down at the end of Lyanna's bed. Sir Arthur Dayne's title is the Sword of Morning, and his sword is called Dawn, and it's forged from the metal in a fallen star. So fans figure that, looking at this scene with sword and blood, Jon Snow must be Azor Ahai, because he was literally born beneath the bleeding star, which is part of Azor Ahai prophecy. To me, Sir Arthur Dayne's sword is Morning Star, and Lyanna had to die like a young girl in a Morning Star ceremony. Lyanna was only 16 when she died. Now what I say is that this is where George's ingenuity kicks in. George put these two symbols together, homecoming and morning star, to create his own symbol for Song of Ice and Fire. How you put these two together is totally up to George. 3 spirals from homecoming and 4 straight lines from morning star? Well, he just got 7 swirls. And what is this symbol for then? Azor Ahai. This is to say Azor Ahai reborn. Meaning-wise, it's a return of the heroes of the past that were resurrected to restore tradition. From the other's view, it can be they're saying they're Azor Ahai, they're coming back to bring the old way back. But from the living's viewpoint, this symbol means repeat of history, return of a warrior once again to protect the 7 kingdoms from the army of the undead. Where else have you seen this symbol? In Season 7. Let's talk about this beautiful pariah art created by none other than Children of the Forest. They created a lot of things. They created White Walkers and this pariah art. Okay, this has got to be the 3 heads of dragon, or 3 Azor Ahais. Let's go over them one by one. This one has to be Jaime Lannister. The hand. This looks like a person wearing a glove on his right hand. That's got to be Jaime and his golden hand. And under him is Azor Ahai symbol. Yep, Azor Ahai returns right there. And for Native Americans, the hand is a form of war paint and indicates that the wearer has been successful in hand-to-hand combat. Does this mean Jaime will be the one who will take down the Night King? I'm hesitant in answering that question because I have a problem with this one thing. I don't think he'll actually survive. He might in the show, but I think he will not make it in the books, and here's why. The hand is right, but the color is not. The color of this hand is not right. What do I mean by that? Usually Native Americans use black for the hand symbol because black means living color and very aggressive, and it means strength. Black was also used to symbolize victory. I couldn't find anything about gold, but the closest one was yellow. And the meaning of yellow has 3 folds, just like there are 3 children in the House of Lannister. And I think George has given each meaning to each child of Tywin Lannister in their birth order. Speaking of birth order, even though Cersei and Jaime are the twins, Cersei is the firstborn. She was born before Jaime. Now let's talk about the 3 meanings of yellow. So the first meaning of yellow is death, and this one is given to Cersei. I hope you're familiar with Maggie the Frog's prophecy. Remember the ASOIAF fortune teller who said of Cersei's 3 children, gold should be their crowns and gold their burial shrouds, implying that all of her children would die? It was as if George was trying to tell us that gold, which is George's glorified version of yellow, was an ominous color. Second, yellow indicates that the person who wears yellow war paint is a heroic, has led a good life, and is willing to fight to the death. Yeah, this is Jaime's story right there. Kingslayer has led a great life, noble bone, and probably willing to fight for a good cause. What about the last one? This one is quite different. The third meaning of yellow is intellect. I guess that's why Tyrion's character is so clever, canny, and smart. Yeah, I think so. I think George has given this meaning to Tyrion. But Tyrion's story is another video for me. For you now, I want you to turn your attention to this. The first two properties of yellow have something in common. They both speak of death, and that's the endgame for Cersei and Jaime. They live this world together as they once came into it. But are they really? Maggie the Frog predicted Cersei would die at the hands of Valonqar, and many fans speculated that it is Jaime who will strangle Cersei like a freaking Game of Thrones version of Twisted Romeo and Juliet, and wildfire will kill them both. I think Cersei would die before Jaime. Why? Technically speaking, Cersei and Jaime were not born at the same time. And this, to me, the position of the word death in the meanings of yellow is where George got the idea of having Jaime born holding the foot of Cersei. This is their birth order, and this is their death order. That means Cersei and Jaime's deaths will be two separate events in two separate locations. Cersei will die in King's Landing, and Tyrion might have better chance to fulfill the Valonqar prophecy. But neither Jaime nor Tyrion is the Valonqar. Remember this line by Tyrion? I will hurt you for this. A day will come when you think you're safe and happy, and your joy will turn to ashes in your mouth, and you will know the debt is paid. I think George loves to play with colors. Let's all play a game of colors now. What's the color of ash? Gray. If joy turns to gray, what do you get? You get gray joy. George? You don't like Cersei that much, do you? This is almost like you saying, Das ist mir doch scheißegal. Your Greyjoy is your own Greyjoy. I don't give a damn, Cersei. Your own Greyjoy will choke the life out of you. The Valonqar prophecy is about Euron killing Cersei. Now what about Jaime then? I hate to tell you this, but he'll die. But he'll die in the arms of the woman he loves. And who's that woman? I think it's Rhaena Tarth. It's going to be really sad, and it'll be even more so to me because Jaime is one of my favorite characters. But I think Jaime will definitely die. Okay, back to the cave scene. The one that's in the middle has this winter water symbol right below. I can only think of one person, Jon Snow, prince that was promised. You see snow in the winter, and if snow melts, it becomes water, so he gets that winter water sign. He's Azor Ahai. Plus he has the right color, black, the color of life, strength, and victory. He's fine, he's all good. But is it going to be that simple? More details about Jon's story will be discussed in my future video, but for now, let's just say Jon will survive. And the last one? I think this one is the modified version of the summer air symbol, and it's right next to its head, and that's to indicate that the first two Azor Ahais will be fighting on land, and this one will be fighting in the air. So who's that sweet summer child in Song of Ice and Fire? Yep, Bran is one of three-eyed dragon, Azor Ahai is the three-eyed raven, and he's the Lightbringer, the savior of the Seven Kingdoms. And what does this mean? Bran is not the Night King. Yes, I've read the Season 8 leak, and this is the one thing that I cannot agree on. Bran being the Night King and getting killed by Jon is not where it's heading. It sounds all too fanfictionish to me, but I do agree on that. Dany will die in childbirth. Sorry, Dany. You're not one of the three heads of dragon. You're not Azor Ahai. But there will be a video on you, so you'll be back. Now there you have it, what I believe what those symbols mean and what will happen in Season 8 and what I believe will not happen in Season 8. It's just the tip of the iceberg of what I found. How big of an impact did American Indians' history, culture, and legends have on Song of Ice and Fire? You'll find out more about it in my upcoming videos. Hope you guys enjoyed this one and we'll be back for more. Thanks for watching.